Can I sell an inherited house? Yes, you can sell an inherited house by following these crucial steps. First, make sure you're complying with legal requirements, like completing the probate process and transferring the property's title. Prepare the house by deep cleaning, decluttering, and staging to enhance its appeal. Finally, create an effective marketing strategy with high-quality photos and detailed descriptions to attract buyers. So understanding these steps will guide you through the process smoothly while offering deeper insights to each stage. So what do you need more of? Well, let's discover with us right now. So the legal requirements. So when selling an inherited house, you must first understand and comply with the legal requirements, specific basically to your jurisdiction, where you live. So the probate process is very central to this. So probate is a legal procedure that validates the decedent's will and authorizes the executor to distribute assets. If the house was included in the will, this step is important before any sale can proceed. Without completing probate, you can't really legally transfer ownership. So if the home is included in a trust, you do not have to have the home go through the probate process. So let's first explain what the definition of a will versus a trust is. A will is a legal document that directs who will receive your assets and property at the time of your death. A trust is a legal arrangement where a trustee, someone you select, manages and holds title to your assets and property and distributes income to the beneficiaries that you select. A will not be effective until after the testator dies, while a trust goes into effect immediately after it's signed. What property can be inherited through wills and trusts? Well, a will only covers property that is in your name when you die. If you don't own it, you can't give it, except in certain instances. A trust only covers the property that has been transferred into the trust and put in the name of the trust. Wills require probate, trusts don't. So wills, property and assets have to go through probate first before transfer to beneficiaries. A trust, property and assets put in a trust bypass probate. So wills become public. They're a public record. Trusts are private. With a will, it becomes a matter of public record when they're submitted to the court for the probate process. So a trust, there is no requirement to follow a trust or to file a trust, so they remain private and only known to those involved. Be that good or bad, but that is just the law. So now back to probate. Once probate is granted, the next step is the ownership transfer. So this involves legally changing the property's title from the deceased to the beneficiary or beneficiaries. So you must file specific documents with your local land registry or register of deeds or relevant authority. So these documents typically include a certified copy of the probate order, the death certificate, and any forms required by the jurisdiction to transfer the property. So additionally, make sure all parties with a claim on the property, such as co-heirs or mortgage lenders, are addressed. So failing to do so can result in legal complications later on, which makes the process longer. So properly handling the probate process and the ownership transfer will ensure a smooth sale of the inherited house, keeping you compliant with legal standards and preventing potential disputes, which is always very important. We don't want to have any disputes later on. So financial implications. So understanding the financial implications of selling an inherited house requires a thorough grasp of tax liabilities and potential expenses. So you'll need to take into account the inheritance tax, which may apply depending on the estate's value and the local regulations. So, for example, if the inherited property increases in value from the time you inherit it to the time you sell it, you might be subject to the capital gains tax. So this tax is calculated based on the difference between the fair market value at the time of the inheritance, which would be the time of death, and the sales price. So accurately determining the capital gains liability, you possibly should get a professional market analysis, right, of the property's value at the time of inheritance. So you want to keep a detailed record of any improvements or expenses related to the house, as these can be deducted from your capital gains at the time. So additionally, you might incur some costs such as your real estate agent fees, closing costs, and potential repairs or upgrades needed to make the property sellable if you decide to do any of that. So it is important to consult with a tax advisor or a financial planner to understand the specific situation and optimize your tax strategy. So by doing so, you'll make sure you are fully aware of the financial implications and can make the informed decisions when selling your inherited house. Property valuation. That's what it's all about. So to determine the market value of your inherited house, you will need to obtain a value on the home. So you can contact a local realtor who can tell you what is sold recently and what is currently on the market. They can also provide you with a comparative market analysis to tell you the current value of the home. So realtors are a wealth of knowledge and can provide more than just the value of your home. And I know that because I'm a real estate agent. So understanding the market trends, it is essential during this process, right? So the real estate market fluctuates. Recent trends will greatly impact your home's value. So, for instance, if the market currently is favoring sellers, your property's value might be higher compared to a buyer's market scenario. So your realtor will analyze the local market conditions, including recent sales data, inventory levels, and economic indicators, which will provide an accurate valuation. Moreover, it is important to present all relevant information to the agent, such as recent renovations or any structural issues. So that's all very important. Now, in preparing your home for sale, you want to get the inherited house cleaned up, right? You want to get a thorough cleaning. You want some necessary repairs, especially if they're very serious ones. You want to get those taken care of. And if you'd like, we also can do some strategic staging to optimize the appeal. So basically, you want to start with the decluttering process, remove the personal items, outdated furniture, unnecessary clutter. So this makes the home feel more spacious and allows potential buyers to envision their own belongings in the space. So check out the video I made about decluttering. So you want to do that. Next, you want to focus on curb appeal. So the exterior is the first thing the buyers will see. So it is important to make a positive impression. You want to mow the lawn, trim the bushes, power wash, plant fresh flowers. So a professional cleaning is important, and I suggest it is a great thing to do. You may also want to repaint the front door. You want to ensure that the house numbers are visible to increase the attractiveness. You might want to have the windows cleaned. You want to clean the carpets. You want to address any repairs such as leaky faucets, patching holes in the wall, replacing broken tiles if at all possible. So you want to do that because you want your home, your inherited home, the home that you're going to be selling, to be viewed in the best light possible. So you don't ever get a second chance for your first impression, right? So you may want to put some special touches like maybe a bowl of fruit out or some flowers. So you want to set the stage for a successful sale. You want it to be welcoming when the buyer comes in. You also want to make sure that your real estate agent is crafting an effective marketing strategy to ensure that your inherited house will sell and will stand out in this competitive real estate market. So ask your agent how they plan to market the property. Ask them what they do in addition. How many different social media aspects do they send it on? Do they want to do an open house? Do you want to do an open house? Is an open house the right thing to do? It's all questions that you might want to ask. So you also want to make sure when they put the listing in, they're going to use some compelling remarks. So be sure to tell them what you have done to the house or what you remember was done to the house, because if this is an inherited property, sometimes that you will not have all the information if you've not lived in the house, but you want to use the best of your abilities. So some people ask, can I sell an inherited home if I live out of state? Of course, you could do that. You're just going to want to have to understand the local jurisdictions. Consult a real estate attorney if needed, if it gets a little confusing for you because you are out of town. Another question is, how long will the probate process take? So the probate process timeline varies. So it typically lasts about 6 months to a year. So it depends on your estate's complexity, right? the local laws, the court schedule, because you have to have a court date, and the specific situation. So in Michigan, it can take at least 5 months, but most cases, like I mentioned, between 6 months to a year. So if the will is contested, then it could take longer. So, or a larger state, like I said, it could take longer. But what you'll want to do is you'll want to get the process started, because if it does have to go through probate, it will take time. And in this crazy real estate market, things can change in 6 months. So you might want to be up on that. But it's an important process because they have to let creditors know. There's a timeline. You have to make sure there aren't any other liens on the house. And it's a process. So economic conditions, right? If the home is being sold, I guess the economic conditions can affect the length of the probate. So, whether the estate owes any federal tax, that's kind of important. If they're behind on their federal estate tax, it can take more than a year. But in that respect, another question people ask is, well, how is this going to go? Is there going to be emotional considerations I need to take into consideration? Well, actually, yes. So family dynamics can complicate decisions. The house's sentimental value might make letting go difficult. So you want to engage openly with your family and the relatives, or just the relatives if you're in charge of probate and you are not a relative. So selling an inherited house involves several vital steps. So make sure you meet all the legal requirements and understand all the financial implications. So accurately valuing the property and preparing it for sale are essential for attracting buyers. This is a big deal, guys. So effective marketing will help you sell the house quickly and at a great price. So by following these steps, you can navigate the process smoothly and maximize your returns. So remember, professional advice can offer valuable guidance throughout this complex journey. So if you click on the pinned comment below, you can get your free download of tips to getting your home or the home that you've just recently inherited ready to sell. So that wraps it up. If you're in need of any other answers or have any additional questions that I have not addressed, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Charles Provenzano from the Proven Property team. Remember, we're family helping families, and we appreciate you.